Afternoon, everyone. Hope everything is going good for ya. I started this channel so that people can get a little bit of insight to what it is like living overseas. Germany specifically, I live in Stuttgart, been here about 6 years. So a lot of my friends have always asked me like, oh my goodness, are you coming back to America? Like, is it really cheap to fly around here? Like, is Ryanair really like $5? Like, yeah, depending on where you're going, heck yeah, it's hella cheap. So, it's cheaper to buy a plane ticket than it is a train ticket. So you can go a lot of places. Europeans have a lot of advantages when it comes to living overseas, especially, with the open border policy. So let's get into it. And I will let you know about my experience thus far in Stuttgart. Also, I want to apologize for the low budget quality of this video as I get into this new social space. So hopefully in the future, everything will be a little bit more tip-notch shape because I know you guys have a lot of options when it comes to online content and getting to know a little bit more about a city, Europe in general, or just any information period. So bear with me as I make this one step at a time. All right. So, Germany itself is actually quite a really nice place to live. Unfortunately, the first thing people think about when they think of this country is World War II, which is unfortunate because they have a lot here, with all the vineyards, the castle, the culture, the history. I mean, it's really some beautiful sights if you're into like hiking, skiing. I mean, there's just so many different options for you here. And unfortunately, like I said, that stigma is there. But if you can look aside from all that, the people are really, really friendly. But I'm not gonna lie, they still there that one thing that they've kind of held on to is that every apartment here in Stuttgart has a balcony essentially. And the people are out there, they're enjoying the scenery, especially the older folks. That whole little thing, spying on their neighbor, that's still kind of there. But you just give them a little wave and you say hello. Sometimes they'll wave back, you know what I mean, when they get caught looking at you for a long time. But it's all friendly in nature, so that's the way it is. Do you need to know German in order to move to Germany? Of course, if you move to any city where it's not your native tongue, I mean, it is advantageous for you to learn the language, but until you do, English will always be that common language, so you don't need to worry about it. The more you mingle with people, the more you'll learn it naturally. A lot of German words are very similar until you get to business German, but that's something that you won't have to worry about. As long as you can have, conversation, locally. And Germans are actually really appreciative that you actually will start to learn if you're in a restaurant ordering something, if they see that you're struggling a little bit with the language and they'll actually, switch with you. I had a package that was delivered to my house and I needed to send it back through DHL. And the guy just happened to be outside of my house delivering something with a truck. And, I approached him and I was like, oh, do you speak English? He was like, of course I speak English. So, I was like, oh yeah, duh, sorry. So, just handing in the package, it saved me a lot. So, that's something that you really, really, really don't have to worry about, especially in bigger international cities. So don't stress about it. You'll learn it soon enough. So Stuttgart itself is actually quite nice place to live. It's in the valley, the way that it's set up with the hills on the side. So if you're getting a place just outside the city and you're overlooking the hills, I mean, it's literally like, the Hollywood of Germany. I mean, houses carved up on the side. I mean, it's really gorgeous. Lots of vineyards here as well, lots of bars and restaurants, lots of things for the kids to do as well. Stuttgart now has become the most expensive city in Germany to live. It surpassed Munich about 3 years ago or sometime around the pandemic. The reason for this is because Porsche, Daimler, Mercedes, Bosch, they're all here. A lot of engineers, manufacturers, landlords know how much they make, and that has gotten the prices up to, that people really can't afford. So a lot of roommates in this town, also because the university is here as well, which isn't a bad thing because that way you're able to know a lot more people. You can also get on Facebook groups and expat groups, and you can mingle with people. Meetup is a really good one. I started using that back in 2013 when I went to grad school in London. And I mean, I still socialize with people that I've known from that time. And it's a really good way to incorporate yourself into a new environment where you don't know anybody. If you're a single person moving here, or you're just, as a couple, it's just a really good way to go out and meet people. If you are looking for an apartment in Stuttgart, Germany, you need to get onto Immobilien Scout. Like I said, it is not easy to find an apartment in this city. They are in demand. I think in the inner city area and a little bit, I would say maybe about 10 minutes out, there's about 600,000 people in this city. And I think there's about 1.2 in the metropolitan region. So it's quite a bit. There's a lot of people here. And obviously, like I said, with these corporations here as well, is bringing in a lot of people from international zones as well. You have people from Pakistan and India, America, everyone coming to work with these corporations. And sometimes they can stay for, years at a time, or maybe they're here on an interim thing where they're only here maybe like 3 to 6 months. So they're looking for furnished apartments as well. So if you're moving here, be mindful that there are a lot of apartments that will be fully furnished already. Okay, so sometimes that'll be good for you and sometimes it'll be bad for you. For me, for my experience, I was moving from a smaller town, so I had brought all of my furniture with me. I did not need a furnished apartment, but I had to move in with, some random girl. Here's my experience. Okay. I got a new job. I needed to transfer up here to Stuttgart, and 3 months went by and not one landlord or agency contacted me about an apartment. I mean, that's how serious it is in this town. I mean, you have to know Charles's second cousin Sally to get an apartment in this town. Like I said before, it is like Hollywood. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know and who is getting an apartment up in here. Okay. It is really, really tough. As soon as an apartment goes up, it is down within a couple of hours. I mean, it is really, really in that demand. If you need to find an apartment, the best place to go is Immobilien Scout. I'll put the link to that website down below. You can translate it into English. And I also suggest that you get an account. Okay, get an account because when you live in any other city, when I was living before, it was so easy. I got an apartment in like a week on Immobilien Scout. Okay, not here. Okay, so like I said, get you an account. That's one of the best places to find an apartment. Set your computer to translate into English, set up your account. Stuttgart is an international city. So, a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't speak that much English. When it comes to, big things like, Vodafone, O2, your utility company, phone company, those places are based in, Berlin, Munich. So those people behind the telephones, they're going to speak English. Okay. You don't really have to worry about that. When you're looking for the apartment, a lot of the people will actually speak English as well. Maybe not so good, but you can put, the English translation and the Deutsch in there so that, at least you can be a little bit relatable. You know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about that if you're an English speaker moving over here, or if you're moving from another country. Obviously, that universal language is English if you don't speak German, Deutsch, right away. So you're going to have, a few options to be able to get what you need to do. So that's one of the things. When you're finding an apartment and you're going out here searching, be mindful that kitchens may not be included in your apartment, especially if it is brand spanking new. Light fixtures will not be in your house. Also, closets will not be in your house. When I first moved here, I was like, why are there so many IKEAs and Bauhauses and Hofmeisters? Well, now I know why, because you have to buy every daggone thing to go inside your house. So, if you happen to move into an apartment that already has the kitchen installed, you will be paying a little extra fee for that per month. Or you will be purchasing it from the tenant who bought it previously, okay? That's how it works in Germany, okay? The same thing with the closets. Closets do not come standard in German apartments, okay? So you might be either purchasing a brand new one or purchasing it from the previous tenant who cannot break it down because it doesn't make any sense to bring it back to wherever it is that they're going because it may not fit into their new space when they've done all the measurements. Like that. Same thing for the kitchen. Some people do bring their kitchens with them and break it down. I mean, that's just how it is. Be mindful that there is cold rent and warm rent. That's the difference between whether or not you have utilities included. Obviously, your internet and stuff like that is not going to be included. Like I said, it depends on the type of landlord that you are getting. If your landlord usually rents out to like students or temporary workers from, like Bosch or something like that, then they're going to have everything already included for you in there, and you'll pay that little bit of extra tidbit for that. So, you don't have to worry about that. But I mean, those are just things to consider when you're looking for an apartment, that you're going to have this extra amount of cash set aside just to purchase things. And the average, you're going to need about 3 months for the deposit, and you're going to need the first month rent as well. That's what I needed when I moved into my space. I live in Degerloch, which is about a 12-minute U-Bahn ride, which is like the light rail system here, to the city center. So I used to live downtown in Stuttgart West, which is like the most popular area to live because you can walk everywhere. I mean, I really, really, really wanted to live down there, continue to, but it was just really hard to find something. And then, my coworker, she was like, oh my goodness, are you looking for an apartment? These girls, who are living upstairs from me, they're moving. Yeah, 3 girls used to live in my apartment. So, and now I'm here in this space by myself. But I mean, I'm telling you, that's how hard it is. I mean, 3 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment. So also when you are looking for your space, it's the room amount. They don't go by the size of the number of the bedrooms. Okay. It is the number of rooms that you have in the house. So they're going to count your bathroom, your kitchen, bedroom, living room. So you'll be looking for a space that'll have 4 rooms, it'll have 5 rooms, and it also goes by your meter squared. I have 72 meters squared in my apartment. It's actually quite large for a single person. Whenever I step out and about, people always ask me you live by yourself? You want a roommate? I'm like, hell no. I am a grown ass woman. I am no longer living with anybody else. Unless you are a friend, you just moved here, you were in dire circumstances, you were in my situation, you can't find a goddamn place, Woo, I'm telling you, it is a struggle. But things to be mindful. Have your money set aside for your closet, your kitchen, and your light fixtures. I'm telling you, light fixtures will be cords hanging out of the ceiling. I lie to you not. I'm pretty sure I got a picture around here somewhere. See if I can insert it, but that's my house. So, happy hunting. So, if you have the patience and the money, about 4 grand, to looking for an apartment, moving in, situating yourself, yes, Stuttgart is a very, very, very lovely, desirable place to live. And I highly, highly recommend it. Lots of walking trails, lots of lakes, waterfalls, vineyards. There is a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, a lot of friendly things for children as well. The Wilhelmina Zoo, there's the Porsche Museum, the Mercedes Museum, Cultural Museum, lots of castles and palaces around here, lots of parks that you can go to and just sit and relax. And Stuttgart is actually in a very good position as well. So, I mean, in 4 hours, you can be in Milan. That's, driving in your car. Okay. So you can be in Amsterdam in about 3, Luxembourg 2. Belgium, about 5, Paris, about 5, depending on, my goodness. Driving to France is literally like being on the New Jersey Turnpike. I mean, there is a toll like every couple of miles. And I think it was about $50 or so, well, €50 just for the tolls between Stuttgart and Paris. I mean, France is no joke when it comes to that. I mean, woo wee. But Stuttgart is very, 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 very beautiful city. Lots of activity happening, lots of festivals. I mean, like I said, it's an international city. You will see and meet everybody from everywhere. It's literally like, being in New York City in a way, but just, just Deutsch. So if you have any other questions, put them down in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram as well. I will come back to you guys in the future about my travels, advice, and tips. So I hope you learned a little bit of something. And I look forward to speaking to you soon.